I think as men, we intrinsically want to have the role of leadership, or at least be respected in our respective friend groups. I think we want to be looked up to, and I think we want to be established where we are. I think we want the respect, and I think we want admiration, and I think we want to be thought of as competent. For many of us, that isn't easy at all. Especially for those of us who, when we first start off in social situations, we are not immediately accepted. Maybe we had some eccentricities, or we didn't look good when we were younger. And that's why we weren't immediately accepted, and we were always confused. And maybe our parents pampered us a lot, and then because of that, we are also not very competent in social situations. Or it could be the other way, where our parents are kind of batshit insane, and because of that, we have no confidence and we don't have any self-worth. Don't feel any shame for trying to be better and trying to make deliberate effort to improve your place in the social hierarchy. First thing you need to understand is that female friendships and man friendships are entirely different, are otherworldly different, because we have different tendencies and we work and operate in different ways, and we are drawn to different things. I don't care what you say, you're gonna have to accept it. At least that's what I've experienced empirically, what I've seen. The first thing you can start doing is improving your material value. What that means is your social proof, who you have with you. If they see that you already have friends, which you probably don't because you're clicking on this video, if they see that you have like a social following, you know people in many different places, you have close friends, you already look like you're a decent human being, because there's already proof that you're not a weirdo or an absolute retard, because there's people around you. Your physique, having a good physique as a man is extraordinary in terms of gaining respect from other people. It's just intrinsic, and it's biology. Seeing a man with a good physique just immediately makes you think that he's competent. Of course, if he acts like a retard and asshole while he has a good physique, then maybe you think he's stupid. If he walks like that while having a good physique, I don't think anybody would want to talk to him, because he looks like an idiot. And there's also your material skills and hobbies, like your ability to play piano, or your ability to box, maybe to play badminton, maybe to play basketball, maybe your studies, maybe your ability to articulate yourself, having strong arguments. That makes you very respectable as well. So these are just the material value that you can start improving anytime, unless you have zero time in your life. Let's say you have nothing going for you right now. What can you do in social situations? I got you. One thing you need is non-neediness. You don't want to have that constant fear of loss when you deal with friends. You have to behave in a way where you're not tied to the immense fear that they're gonna leave you and they're gonna take away their love for you. You can't live with that. It's gonna sound a bit narcissistic, but you have to shift your mindset to understand that you can always do better. You can always find better people. I hate to break it to you, but there's 8 billion people in the world. There's always better people, unfortunately. Yeah, they might feel special to you, but you're gonna have to be willing to let them go. You can't let them tie you down. You can't let your emotional attachment to them control your life forever. It sounds bad, but it's necessary. And you can't just tell yourself this. You need to actually believe in it wholeheartedly. And how you do that is by increasing your options, by approaching multiple people, having multiple sources of friend groups of that company, and understanding your worth, because you have so many people that you are able to go and talk to with ease. That will show you that you're not going to be alone if one group leaves you. Unfortunately, this is quite necessary. You have to have things going for you as well, like maybe you're good at something, or maybe you're making money on the side, you're very close to your family. That will all give you non-neediness. Being afraid to lose people chronically gives you this controlling tendencies. You always want to know where they're at and what they're doing right now, so that you don't miss out, because you're afraid of missing out, because you're scared that they're already doing things without you. And it's batshit terrifying. It's gonna make you start to lie, because you're afraid to insult them and then they stray away from you. You're gonna be very dishonest, and you don't give them honest criticism, and that will make you less valuable as a friend, because you're afraid of offending them, and you let the world see their flaws instead of telling them their flaws, and in turn they suffer more. You're going to be afraid to joke, to insult. It's not going to be fun to be around you, because you're going to be a very passive people pleaser, and you're not going to be fun to talk to, and you're also not valuable at all. Being able to tell the truth, I think, is the most virtuous thing someone can do. And if you can't do that for your friend, you allow him to walk down stupid paths, because you as a third person point of view clearly see his flaws and clearly see things that you're not happy with, and you never ever talk about them. And then it builds up and it gets all messy and nobody likes it and nobody likes you. Once you start to be afraid of losing them, you find that generally many friend groups will start to stray from you, start to avoid you, start to create groups without you. It's going to suck, unfortunately. At least that's what I've experienced, and it's not a nice place to be in. And slowly you'll be discarded, and that's just how it works. Next, you have to learn to be vulnerable without emotional vomit. I know that it is widely practiced to open up to someone, but you can't just pour all your shit onto their face. Alright? That sounds kinda sus, you know. Being vulnerable means to not be afraid of putting yourself in situations that could get you hurt. Now that does not mean you be stupid. That means that you do what you want, what you see fit, without being afraid of opening yourself up to attacks or insults or mocking. And you're not afraid to share your emotions and talk about issues with them. But that does not mean you emotionally vomit on them. It's two different things. And when you open up to your friends, you have to realize that as a man, you have to understand that sharing does not mean that they will care. Sharing does not mean that they are subjected and they must care. If you choose to share, you play the risk of finding out they don't give a shit. And that does not mean that they are not a good person. They just don't have the capacity or don't have the interest in your issues. It's just how it works. You are not that cool. You lose if you try to take it personally when they don't listen. As men, emotional vomit is one of the most annoying and cringiest thing you can ever hear from another guy. And when they are so emotionally tight and they just dump onto you, you'll probably get sick of them really quick. You want to have a conversation with them. You want them to understand that they're not subjected to have to listen to you. How you do that is when you are not ready to listen to their bullshit, you can tell them, I don't have the capacity for this right now, or can we talk about this next time? Then, when they don't have the capacity to talk about it right now, they will be comfortable to tell you. And you don't have to risk that unnecessary back and forth where they look like they're about to shit themselves because you won't stop talking. You won't have to experience any of that funny things if the world can just be a more honest place. Now, how can you be vulnerable without being petty? To achieve this, you're going to have to learn to reevaluate your emotions on your own. I know the world always tries to promote that you have to open up or you're going to die and be suicidal. It's really not like that. You know, you have brain too, you can think too, you're not gonna die. So, every problem you have to think through thoroughly by yourself. You realize that you know the answers to 90% of your problems, but maybe you're too afraid to start working towards a solution or something like that. And then for those 10%, then you can have a nice conversation with your friend. You can ask for, you can tell them all the things you've thought about and see what they can contribute to the table. When you handle 90% of your problems, the 10% that you actually share with people become more valuable, because it's likely that they will also not have an answer for it if you don't. So you guys can have a good conversation about that, and both of you will come out of it holding newfound value instead of having this trade-off of emotional vomit that is completely pointless and is unhealthy for both of you. By both of you, I mean whoever you're sharing to in a friend group. You know, it could be the whole group, but I mean, like, you know. So in order to be vulnerable without being an idiot, is to focus on your mental health. Journal, meditate, get good at something so you're confident, improve your social skills. You got this, my man. Next, you have to learn to polarize. This is something like being vulnerable. I think it's a subset actually. It's part of being vulnerable, to polarize, because you're putting yourself in those spots that you could potentially lose them. To polarize someone means to insult, to tease, to challenge, to disagree, being unafraid to be honest with them, just like being vulnerable. To polarize is to, when you are near the early stages of meeting them, you want to make jokes that can be offensive. You want to nudge them, use physical contact, see whether they're okay with it. But you do all these showing that you understand social norms. You have to show that, if not, you will look like an absolute weirdo. You have to be like, I know this is kind of weird, but ever heard about furry porn? See? You have to establish that you know furry porn is weird. You know what I'm saying? Then you can have a conversation. When you do physical contact, you can ask, oh shit, am I too forward? And then If they reciprocate, you don't even need to ask that. You just have to be the one to step up, to start doing something that escalates the relationship, that escalates the bond. That is so important. And that makes your friendship so much more fun. It makes you so much more fun. And I think that is one of the best ways to improve your social skills. Men will respect you for being able to go out of your comfort zone and disrespect them in order to make a joke, or criticize them honestly. That is very respectable. But of course, don't be an asshole about it. Good and competent men will respect your self-sufficiency to be able to do these kind of things. It is very respectable for us men to see another man not succumb to the stupid modern standards of sensitivity. And I think being able to polarize just gets you straight to the point as quickly as possible. Instantly lets you know whether you're compatible with this person. And yeah, you become a way more respectable friend. The whole friend group will respect your honesty and your ability to make jokes that people can berate you for and could potentially cause people to hate you. But when you make those risky choices to step in, you're gonna see that you're actually going to find a lot more people that like you than hate you. One thing I want to add is, don't be afraid of confronting someone. When you have a little dispute or you feel some kind of way about them because of something you heard or something you saw them do, you must immediately tell them about it. Yo, that time you did this, I'm not okay with that. That's kind of cringe, man. You tell them, you let them know, you share with them what you think about them, and then you have a good conversation from there. If they start acting up or shit, then they are wuss, they are retarded, you're not compatible anyway. And if you harbor those emotions, you're gonna slowly find ways to slowly avoid them, and your idea of their flaws is going to expand and expand and expand, because you're going to keep finding evidence that builds your hypothesis about them. All your friendships won't work because it will slowly seep into superficial friendships as you hide away from confronting them about something you hold against them. And they also do the same to you because they are afraid you cannot take it. And if this cycle of being afraid to hurt each other's emotions continue, you can never be good friends. Ever. There will be no unnecessary cringe drama. There won't be any beating around the bush and trying to, make a new WhatsApp group without this person. If you're just honest. If you want to find high quality men, you must first become one yourself. Focus on being honest, self-sustaining, and better yourself as a person. With no one being as mindful as you to try to improve themselves, you're going to rise in the social hierarchy rapidly. Those people who try to stop you will tell you that it's cringe, that it's arrogant to try to improve this way, to be so deliberate about the way you improve in social situations. Those people that insult you either have given up or they were given everything from the start. They were accepted from the start, so of course they don't see that it's necessary to do this. And because of that, they try to berate you for it because they have nothing better to do. And it kind of hurts their ego that, you're trying to do better. Don't let some lucky fucker that got instantly accepted by the system when they're younger stop you from becoming who you want to be. To better world.